Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Like we have every single Sunday, 7 p.m., we're here to help you make more money with every single step that you take. Every single one, that's what we're here for. So today we're going to be talking about all the ways you can make more cash with every contract that you write. I mean, when we look at contracts, it could be a very weird world, right? But we sell properties almost every day, so we're very used to it. But we're going to teach you the things to pay attention to, because once we get into these contracts, as you can see, there's a lot of papers and there's a lot of fine print. And what does everyone on earth always tell you is be careful of the fine print. The fine print is what can get you, and you can get in a lot of trouble. So we're going to be going through all the different steps, the things that I would tell you to first pay attention to make sure that you make a lot more money when you're going to buy a house, when you're going to sell a house. So there's a lot of different contracts that we're going to have to pay attention to. There's contracts for a home. There's contracts for a condo that is a resale. There's a different contract that you're going to need for a brand new pre-construction building as well, home or condo. So there's a lot of different types of condos and properties that are out there. Commercial properties are going to be different. Commercial leases are going to be different. But by and large, we use single family homes or detached or townhomes, and those generally use Form 100, which are called the Agreement of Purchase and Sale. Now, depending on where you are in the country, depending on where you are in other countries, they're going to use different contracts. But the points that we're going to be making today are pretty much the same everywhere you go. So let's get into a couple of those contracts right away and see how you guys are going to ask any questions. Like always, every single Sunday, I'll show you a couple of things and then I answer all of your questions live so that I can help you guys make some more money when you get to your purchase, regardless of what you're doing. Hey, Joe, how are you? Thanks very much for coming on. Okay, so when you decide on working with a realtor, there's going to be some paperwork that you have to sign with that realtor. So you have a couple choices that you're going to have to make, and those choices are going to make a big difference to you on what kind of services you're going to get. Okay, so the first form that is legally required that we have you sign is called Working with a Realtor, Form 810. But Working with a Realtor, this is a legal government form that we have to hand to you, and you have to sign it. All you have to do is you're signing acknowledgement of receipt of this piece of paper. But Form 810 has some serious implications for you, the buyer. So if we look at the Ontario Real Estate Association paperwork, Form 810, this page is basically itemizing, do you want to be a client or a customer? That's basically your choices. So in all my years doing this, everybody just signs the paper and moves on with their life, and they don't realize the difference of it. Okay, so client, customer. Just so that we make it easier for you to understand, the Ontario Real Estate Association and most associations everywhere are trying to change the name of this from customer to self-represented party. Imagine that you're going to court. When you're going to court, you have the choice. Would you like to have a lawyer represent you, or do you want to represent yourself because for some reason you know better? That's essentially what the differences are. Do you want to be a client, or do you want to self-represent yourself? Okay, let's start with customer. Customer says, unlike a client, you will be providing a customer with a restricted level of service. Services provided to a customer may include showing the property and taking customer direction to draft an offer and present an offer. Guys, want to read that? Can you see that? So what that means is you are a customer. Think of it when you walk into a corner store. Hey guys, I would like a chocolate bar. The guy takes a chocolate bar, hands you the chocolate bar. End of transaction. If you are a customer, it means that I'll show you the property, but I'm not going to tell you what I think it's worth. what renovations should be doing, what other comparable properties. You're self-represented, you know better. So you make all the calls, I'll show you whatever door that you would like, and you have to figure out all of the stipulations of a contract. It kind of is lost these days. We, as a company, never will offer this. I actually do not feel it's right to our customers at all. But let's take the second choice, okay? Instead of client, we're going to choose customer, client here. What does client mean according to working with a realtor? Let me read it to you. It is the highest form of obligation for a realtor to a customer. We now have fiduciary legal relationship with the client to have your best interests at heart. The brokerage must protect the interests of the client to do what is best for the client, not for themselves, not for the brokerage, best for the client. We have to respect confidential information and not give it out to others. And we would have to make every reasonable effort to determine any material facts relating to the transaction and inform the client of those facts. Woo! That's some serious stuff, guys. So fiduciary responsibility. Did you know that in Canada, the United States, even your financial advisors at your banks do not have fiduciary responsibility? It is basically like a noose around our neck, a gun to our head. Your service must be impeccable, or else we could get fined for that. Or our brokerage could get fined for that. So what is it again? The highest form of obligation to a realtor, from a realtor to a customer. Fiduciary responsibility is so important, and that we should protect the interests of our client in any way. And that we have to disclose to our client any piece of information we can get from the deal. And do not disclose any of your private information to anyone at any time. It's serious stuff. I could get in big trouble, big fines if I ever breach that. Okay, and remember, let's go to the other one. What was customer again? That's your other choice. A customer, it provides a restricted level of service. Services can include showing a property and taking customer direction to draft an offer. It's a big difference. So this is the number one thing I think that you should be looking at. Form 810, you're going to have to make that call. It's a very big decision because the implications are very large. In addition to that piece of paperwork, which only sits between you and your realtor, the second form is Form 200, Buyer Representation Agreement. This only is between your realtor and yourself. And so with this, you are looking right here for your address. Why is your address and municipality going to be on the buyer representation agreement? It's so that you could get your listings before it goes to the general public. You're going to have to get onto the buyer registry so that you can get listings, hot new listings, before the general public. Very important. Also, let's look at a customer is going to sign this really quickly without realizing the implications that they're putting themselves in. This yellow part, let me read it to you. The buyer warrants that the buyer is not party to a representation agreement with any registered real estate agent or brokerage. Means if you're signed with another brokerage or working with another agent at the same time, you could be in big trouble. You could be in trouble, and an agent who's working with you could be in trouble. If you signed with another agent and I'm still working with you, I could get in trouble if I knew about it. I could get in big trouble. Also, on the second page, you guys, there's a spot for our services. How much are we charging? Now, this could be, sometimes we've had to charge $2,000. Sometimes it's going to be a percentage. But whatever it is, it's going to be dictated. So when you are going to decide, regardless of where you are, you're going to be deciding on who am I going to work with, what agent. Now, interview a lot of agents, okay? That's my first suggestion to all of you. Interview a lot of agents, find one that you really like. You're going to open up your first form and choose whether you're going to be a customer or a client. A lot of very good realtors will not be offering customer service. You're going to have to sign with them, so be wary of that. Number 2, you're going to have the buyer representation agreement. Make sure that you put in your address in it and you're warranting that you're not working with any other agents. That's important, okay? So, and on the second page, make sure that you're not paying any commission or prices, set amount that you're not ready to pay and that you haven't discussed. That's important. Okay, so now we're going on to the big meat and potatoes of the contracts, okay? We're going to be getting into the agreement of purchase and sale. I mean, this is the big one, right? This is the big kahuna. This is what you put all the big stuff in. Now, this is going to the other agents. So, let's look at the very, very first thing. Can I tell you guys a story? Why did I highlight address? Back in the day, somebody that I know went out with an agent thinking that I was too busy to take care of them, and they had went and looked at 2 properties on the same street. So they call the agent and they tell them, yes, I really like property number 2. I'm interested in putting an offer. The agent went and put it up, all the paperwork, etc., etc. They signed all the paperwork. After they had signed all the paperwork, they bought the home. Everyone's happy. The next day, the guy says, can I arrange for an inspection of the property? I'd like to go look at it. So he goes and looks at his property later, ready to measure out where his couches are going to go. And the agent brought him to the wrong house. The agent had filled out all the paperwork for house number 1. That wasn't the house that they wanted. He wanted house number 2. Absolutely insane. They were furious. So, this is so important, you guys. So important. Make sure that you have the address correct. This is to Tazdo. You're saying, will I be reading the questions later on? Yep, I will be. So please remember your questions. I'm going to be getting to them. All right, this is the second thing that people ask me all the time. My deposit. Your deposit is not the same. Like if you're going to buy an investment property, you're going to be putting 20% down on the home. A deposit is just a small amount of money that you're putting down to secure the contract. In Toronto, it's typical for it to be 5%. In other areas, it may be $2,000, $5,000, something like that. So it really has to go by your area, but in Toronto, 5% is the minimum that they're going to take. And this is very important. Do you see here in the pre-printed contracts, it says that it will be given in within 24 hours of the contract being written. 24 hours of the final signature going on it. We have clients arguing all the time, well, I have my money. My money is sitting in stocks. But if you sell your stocks, it could take 3 or 4 days to get your money. That is not within 24 hours of you receiving the final contract. You have to do your due diligence as a buyer and know that it's pre-printed in the contract that you need your money within 24 hours. If you haven't done that, you can get in a lot of trouble. The contract may go upside down. They may not honor the contract. You could be open to getting sued. So just make sure that you're paying attention to that, okay? So deposit, use that to your advantage. The higher your deposit, if you have money sitting around, use it because that can help you in a bidding war. Also, you will deliver the check within 24 hours, hopefully even faster. The faster you can have it dropped off, the better. Remember, back in the day when I used to start, notice what it says next to deposit? It says herewith. We used to have to deliver the draft, the money, with the offer. Right now, that's not happening. Right now, we're handing the contract in and paying the contract, the sum of money, the 5%, within 24 hours. Second page, what I would look at for you guys in the second page, of course, is all the things that are going to be included in the property, and that means fridge, stove, maybe a hot water heater, maybe a boat that's in the backyard, pool equipment. You can put that all in what's going to be included. But this is where I see people get trapped in new construction because they didn't know that you have to pay taxes on new things. Yes. When you go on Craigslist, you're buying something secondhand, you don't pay any taxes on that, right? But when you go to the store, you buy a brand new something, you have to pay taxes. Same as houses. When you buy a house brand new, you got to pay the taxes. So that's very important for you guys to know that too. On the third page, this is something that comes up, all of my American friends, same thing, title search. The title search is done 2 weeks before you buy the property, done by your lawyer. It's also done on the exact same day that you are going to be taking over that property, because on that exact same day, you also want to make sure that the old owners didn't put any liens on the property. We have to make sure that the title is clear before you take ownership of it, because you don't want to pay all of their debts. So very important that your lawyer is doing that for you. Okay, let's continue on through the contract. This is another place where I see people get in trouble. On the signatures page of the agreement for purchase and sale is this section for spousal consent. Under spousal consent, remember, if you owned the property before you got divorced and you've been divorced or something for a lot of years, maybe you're separated for a lot of years, you've been in the home alone for a lot of years, you're now slowly in your mind thinking it's just you that has to sign. But remember, when you guys bought the home, it was your matrimonial home, both of you were on the title, you're going to have to get the other spouse to sign off on that as well. So a lot of people will have it where just a husband or something is out there and just he signs it, but it's not a finished deal unless both people sign. You need spousal consent. Very, very important. I've seen a lot of problems with that in the past. The fine print of the contract, and I know that that's not what you guys would think. You would think that the pages with the millions of small prints is the fine print. That's mostly legal requirements to have in there, but most countries have something like this, a Schedule A, a blank page at the end with all the nitty-gritty, all the dates, the things that you want included, etc., and all of the conditions. So for the conditions, guys, the big things that you're going to have is inspection, finance, and conditional on sale of my home. Those are the three big ones that we'll face most of the time. But think of it from a seller's perspective when you're going to go buy something. If you haven't taken the time to go to the bank and ask them if you can actually afford the mortgage, if you haven't taken the time, a little bit of time to find that out, why would a seller give you the time of day to look at the offer? That's what normally happens. If you make it conditional on finance, they usually don't look at the contract. When you are in a situation where it's high demand for properties, low supply, bidding wars everywhere, there's no conditions on those offers. So the onus comes on you to do your homework ahead of time to make sure that you've got your pre-qualification for your mortgage. That doesn't always necessarily mean a written letter. It can mean just a verbal conversation with your mortgage broker. That's for finance. Conditional on sale of your principal home. So some people say, I don't want to get stuck with two homes. I want to make sure that I sell my other home. The last time that I've seen that in Toronto, in a very busy metropolitan area, was many, many years ago. It still does happen sometimes when you're in rural areas, but very, very rarely. The last thing that we're going to have is inspection. Most of the time, homes will be inspected, but there's a lot of strategies on when to have your home inspected, how to have it inspected, and what to have on those reports. So there's a whole strategy session. I could do a whole live just on that. But those are the big three. So conditional on sale of your home and conditional on finance, I mean, it's 1 out of 100, maybe less. 1 out of 1,000 will ever get accepted with those on it. Conditional on inspection of your home, or if you have a condo, it'll be in Canada, status certificate. In the United States, the Homeowners Association will produce an entire document about their condo. And those will have to be inspected by lawyers, and that's why you have to have a good lawyer who will be interviewing property management and the people who are on the ground at your buildings. Does that make any sense? So those are the big three documents that we would be looking at, okay? And we can go over them again later if anybody has questions on that. But thank you guys for coming by. We do this every single Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and we try to answer your questions and help you make more money when you're going to go buy and sell homes. So does anybody have any questions about any one of these documents? buyer representation agreement, or the working with a realtor, or purchase and sale. Now, there's strategies for all of these, right? We buy and sell and tons of properties. We deal with hundreds and thousands of clients. So we see this all the time, but I want to know what you guys are running into. What questions do you have about this type of thing? Anybody? Anybody? So you're going to have to interview as many clients, as many realtors as you can. By that I mean 5, 10, however many you can, until you find somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. In Toronto, there's 70,000 agents. 70,000 agents. Unbelievable. One of the densest population of realtors in North America. But guess what? 35,000 of them never sold a property last year. Another 20,000 only sold one. So the majority of people in this business don't actually sell the properties. 90% of the sales are done by 10% of the people. And if you want to get even less than that, I bet you 95% of the sales are in the top 3%. So you're going to really have to find a good agent who knows what you're doing, who has experience in this, and who does this all the time. Because each one of these things that I'm warning you about has a lot of strategies around it, how to make more money with this. Joe, you said, what can you do with this information at 15 years old? Man, I wish I was 15, bro. You're the best. I'm glad that you're paying attention to this stuff. What I would be doing is getting your head right now, reading books, understanding entrepreneurship, how to invest in real estate, how to make more money. You know, I always suggest to start off, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, read Think and Grow Rich, read The Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller. Start off on those things, because what people have been telling you your whole life, Joe, at 15 years old is wrong. That you have to go to school, you have to sit down, shut up, do your homework, show up on time at the bell, do your work. Entrepreneurship can break you free of that whole you must trade your life for money, which I find terrible. Where you go and you sell out your dreams because you're willing to give an hour of your life for $15 and continue that. Get off that rat wheel and then go and open up a business, several businesses. You know, I'm just about to open another one in 2 months. Like, entrepreneurship is amazing. You can pay no taxes or virtually no taxes. You know, it's absolutely incredible, and it's the road to wealth. And we don't do it, right, because money is the end-all be-all, because you're being greedy. We just like to do it because it's something different. It's freeing to not have to work for somebody. And with the money that we buy, we're not buying money really. We're buying revenue streams so we can have time off later in our lives and choose what to do with our life and not have to be listening to a boss all the time. Sir, yes, sir. Show up on time, sick or not. That's what I want. So, Joe, man, I want you to get your head right at 15 years old. I want you to get your head right. Start reading books. Start learning. And then when you get 18, go get your real estate license. 3 years from now, give us a call. Come work with us. If you're in Toronto, you're more than welcome. You know, and really do that, man. Seriously, I waited too long to do it. If you could do this right off the bat, if I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't ever have to work past 25. It's incredible. So good for you, buddy. Manny, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Oh, Manny, that's a great question. Would I recommend buying pre-con condos in this crazy TO market? Here's my answer. Never. Never purchase pre-construction in Toronto right now. As of 8 years ago or so, they changed the pricing structure. So before 8 years ago or so, we used to be selling pre-construction like it was going out of style. Left, right, and center. Bang, 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 all over the place. So if you were here just a little bit ago, Manny, what I was talking about, in the contracts, it also has a section in it. Let me find it. On the second page, HST, baby, where they're going to be charging you taxes on your place. And they charge a lot more. So what are you going to be doing? Right now, the Pinnacle buildings, One Yonge is going to be the tallest residential building in Toronto. They're building it. So on one side of the street, they're selling property for $1,600 a square foot. On the other side of the street, the same buildings, they're selling for $1,000 a square foot. They rent for the exact same price. It doesn't matter what you paid for it, because the company is saying, well, we think in 6 years, based on our voodoo math, it'll be worth $1,600. Why on earth would I pay a huge premium more when I'm not going to make any more money off of it? If this is an investment for you, and I argue, even if it's for yourself, Manny, that you should be looking at it as an investment, why would I pay an enormous premium for what? To make the same money. If I gave you an opportunity right now and said, okay, Manny, give me $100 and I'll give you $200 back, you would say, hell yeah, I'm going to do that, man. I'm going to make money, no problem. If I said, give me $200 right now and I'll give you $200 back, you'd go, that's not a really good deal. But what happens if I said, give me $300 and I'm only going to give you $200 back? You go, well, that's kind of ripping me off, right? But this is what's happening in the new constructions, is they are charging enormous fees up front. And guess what? They pay realtors like me double and triple commissions if they can convince you to buy a new construction. I get emails all the time saying, we will give you double and triple commission if you can convince somebody to buy one of our units. I feel that's dishonest. I don't like that. I think it's not transparent. It's a terrible investment. I would never do it. But remember, I used to buy pre-construction all the time because 8, 9, 10 years ago, if the property was $1,000 on one side of the street, they'd sell the other side of the street for $1,000, same price. So it was a great deal, right? I buy it, I wait 3 years, I've made a lot of money. But now the way that they have it structured is when you buy the property, you might have to wait for 4, 5, 6 years before it's worth what you paid for it, which to me is just crazy town. So I wouldn't do that. I definitely would not do that. So there's a property this week that came up at 8 Wellesley that was really, really popular. A lot of people were calling about it, and that was exactly the case. They were selling for $1,450 a square foot, and a parking spot was $120,000. 120 grand, man. That's crazy, right? I sold a parking spot at the Ritz-Carlton, one of like the most expensive, exclusive places, $20 million condos. 150,000 for that. And this is just a regular condo. 120 grand? Psycho, man. Crazy. So yes, I wouldn't be doing that. I don't think it's very, very good. Okay, thank you guys for the questions. I really, really appreciate it. Manny, you're saying you had a few real estate agents were pushing for pre-con. Of course they were pushing for it, because it's huge commissions, double and triple commissions. They're just sitting back salivating, because if they're going to charge you so much for the unit, why would they not have an extra bit of money to pay a realtor extra commission to convince you? So every realtor who's trying to push you into pre-construction is doing it out of greed for commission. We're not in it for one deal. I don't even care about one deal. Most of our clients are buying 1 property, 2 properties, 10 properties, their cousins, their family members, because we can help them save $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 on one deal. When I save you $100 grand, I guarantee you're going to be coming back and thanking me for saving you $100,000, and then your moms and your sisters and all your friends. That's what's important to me. Building a really good client base, around us. So of course they're pushing pre-construction. It's not a good deal. I've looked at not just hundreds, 1,000 pre-construction deals in the past couple of years, and they all run like this. What do I suggest investing in at a young age? Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I am a mortgage broker, a real estate broker. So I can't advise you on what to do legally, but what I can tell you is what I do. This is for Joe. If I was young, 1 to 2% of what you have in your whole portfolio, you should be buying some crypto. You should buy a little bit of silver, maybe silver coins. That should be about 10% of your portfolio. And buy some at a young age. You don't really know what you're going to be thinking about down the road. So just buy ETFs, on the S&P 500 in the United States. Just buy an ETF that represents the S&P 500 and do something like that. But investing early is key. Go check out a compound calculator, man. You start investing between 18 to 25, you'll never have to invest again for the rest of your life. Dylan, you says you're 18 and don't know what to do with your life. What would I recommend? You're in the UK. I recommend you get into real estate, bro. So, listen, guys, there's only so many places that you can make money, right? Anywhere. This isn't for just Dylan in the UK. So you can invest in cash. Cash is trash. You make no money on it. Invest in the stock market. You can make 7-8% per year on average, right? You invest in real estate. Now I can make 50-60% per year. That's a huge difference, right? At least you should be able to make 25 to 30% per year. But on some deals, you make 40-50%, okay? And on specially constructed whole life insurance policies that you've overfunded can pay you back 600%, 700%. So listen, guys, just look at the math. Don't do the things that pay you the least money. So read, and learn about, because the worst is buying a bunch of cash in the bank. Stocks make okay, 7-8%. It's beating out inflation. But where you're really going to do well is once you open a company, you can write off your taxes, a lot of taxes, small business. So open some kind of a small business. Check out whole life insurance policies, overfunded. Make sure that you're going to be checking out real estate properties. And I think that's where you're going to do very, very well. So you have to build a dream team. You need a very good real estate agent, a very good mortgage agent, a good business lawyer, and then you start doing that. And I have an insurance guy that I use, and you need your dream team. Start assembling them, interview them. Interviewing them is free. Ask a million questions. Read books on the subject, because books are the cheat sheets to life. That's where you're going to kill it. Every billionaire out there is reading books every week or every month, and they're learning more and more, and that's how you're going to beat the system. So, Dylan, I love where your mind's at. Good for you, buddy. Did that help, Dylan? I know you're in the UK, but it's still good. Everything that I just said is still good there, so I hope that's really helpful. I'm really rooting for you, man. I wish the best for you. Cool, guys. So we were going through the contracts, right? So the contracts that we are looking at in real estate are those 3 contracts. Each one of those steps is how you're going to be making money. So you have to pay attention to those things that I was talking about. All right, I got a few more questions coming in. Thank you, guys. So this is to 6OTO. Can I please talk about life insurance? So guys, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a life insurance advisor or broker, and I cannot give you direct advice on that. I am a real estate broker. But what I can tell you is just what I have is I have an overfunded whole life insurance policies, several, because they can make you huge returns. So you have to find somebody who is selling overfunded whole life insurance policies. If I was going to read any books, you can start reading the books on What Would the Rockefellers Do by Garrett Gunderson. What Would the Rockefellers Do by Garrett Gunderson. I would read that book. And it's all based off of a book that was written, I think, in the 60s called Be Your Own Banker. Read both of those books, and then you'll really understand about what I'm talking about overfunded whole life insurance policies, very specially constructed ones. There's not very many people in Canada and the United States that sell it. So that's the 2 books I would look up. Do you want me to repeat them? This is to 6 Auto. Okay. It's Garrett Gunderson on What Would the Rockefellers Do? Because that's how the Rockefellers made their billions of dollars, right? Tax-free. And you can't get it through litigation. It's incredible. So look into those 2 books, okay? That's what I would recommend. Mammy, you said, thanks, buddy. You appreciate it. You've been getting a lot of agents trying to sell pre-cons in Calgary. Of course they are. Of course they are. Yeah, they make so much money. Ask them what their commission is on a pre-construction. You're going to do so much better on resales. I just bought 2 properties in Alberta, in Medicine Hat, and it's great. They're not pre-constructions because they changed the model as of like 8-9 years ago, something like that. So yeah, I wouldn't be looking at pre-constructions. There isn't one that I've seen that is worth it. Not in Canada. I haven't seen one. If you wanted to look at mine, if you wanted me to look at yours, you can always reach out to me at contact@Ruff Team Realty, and we can take a look at it for you, if that's good. So this is from Manny. You have another question there for me, buddy. Let me just find it because this keeps on getting skirted up to the top. Is that why people are buying existing condos in Toronto and pricing remaining the same? Is the reason why people are buying existing condos in Toronto and pricing remaining the same? So yes, that's why everybody is buying existing condos in Toronto, because the price is amazing compared to, because all you care about is what do I have to pay and what do I get back in rent? That's it, right? How much money am I going to make off of it, right? That's what an investor asks. So if I got to pay $1,000 a square foot to make $350 a square foot back, versus paying $1,600 a square foot to make $350 back, it's the same thing. The rent isn't any higher. So you're going to pay out your nose for that pre-construction. That's why all the smart investors are buying existing units. And right now you can buy units in Toronto at 20 to 25% off. There are units right now 25% off, fire sale, Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, man. So you can get some amazing deals because COVID has hurt the prices, and investors are soaking up those COVID properties that have lost a lot of the value, and investors bailed out of them. They lost their shirt on it, and now they're picking up steals. Steals! That's what you should be looking for. Buying a property in an amazing area next to hard assets, 300 meters or less to a transit station, audited by your realtor and by a lawyer, and make sure that you cover your back because you want to make sure you've reduced your risk, right? That's what you want. And that's why they're buying those. So, yep, pricing is going to continue to go up as they keep printing money. Over 25% of all Canadian dollars ever in existence were created in the last year. That's not a coincidence that housing is up 26% this year. It's a direct relationship, economics 101. If you print a lot of money, the assets inflate as well. It's just how it goes. The government says they're going to continue to print money at this rate for 3 years. So prices will continue to be going up a lot. Would I recommend buying existing in YYC? No, I wouldn't. I looked there several times through the winter, and in January I couldn't find anything that made sense, but I bought some properties in Medicine Hat. Made real sense. Really, really good. So that's why I bought those 2 in Medicine Hat. Where you live, real estate is so expensive. Joe, yeah, everywhere is getting expensive. Across Canada, the average is 26% year over year. It's crazy, and it's going to continue that crazy because as they keep printing checks and delivering checks to everybody through this COVID, they're increasing that money supply. They're printing so much money, but the more you print, the less it's worth. It's worthless, right, if it's so much of it. So that's what's happening. Housing prices are going to continue to shoot up. Six Auto, you're saying thank you. You're very welcome, sir. Hope that helped. Dylan, yeah, you're from the UK. You said you'll take that on board. Hopefully you can read those books, get your mind rate right, and like when you hit 18, hit the ground running. It's time for you to do that. But right now at 16, what I would be doing is opening Shopify stores, doing something online to hone your skills to try to get money coming in already. So when you turn 18, boom, you can buy your first property and buy a smart property, right? So you want to start, Dylan, getting your credit going. So by getting your credit going, you want to get a secondary card off of your parents' credit card. Start using that credit card regularly, but make sure you pay it off in full every single month. And you can do that between 16 and 18. So by the time you hit 18, you already have established credit, and none of your other chump friends are going to have any credit. So you're going to be able to get stuff with credit, and they're not. So you're already ahead of the game. That's what I would be doing, man. Read those books, open some kind of Shopify, Etsy store, blah, blah, blah. Start making some serious bank and building your credit at the same time. You turn 18, you're going to be a monster. That's what I want for you. Where is the best country to get into real estate? I don't really know. That's kind of opinion-based, right? I'm in Canada, so I'm buying properties in Canada. I'm also looking in the United States right now to buy some property in the United States. Other places that I've looked in the past and I have not purchased was Australia and Finland. But I've found other returns that made me feel more comfortable here in my own country. Manny, you said you will reach out definitely. Hey, cool. Love to hear from you. We'll see if we can get you get your mind right and make you some serious money. Manny, that's what our whole goal is, right? We want to make sure that you make more money every time, because if you do so, you're going to be buying 5 properties, 10 properties, right? Everyone in your whole family is going to want to. So that's what we want to do. David, am I buying in the U.S.? Yes. The process and limitations, whew, boy, guys, I couldn't even get into that in one live. It would take you months. I've been studying this for years to try to get into the U.S. market. It's very complicated. It's almost impossible to find property management companies down there. It's almost impossible to find accountants who know what they're doing. And I have been learning over many years, and I'm finding experts in the States and in Canada. They normally charge about $500 per hour for you to sit down. Well, not sit down, like on a Zoom call for you to ask your questions. So I always have all my questions lined up, and I start peppering them with questions to try to make it happen. So right now, we're looking in Tennessee and Texas. It's really, really complicated, honestly. You shouldn't even be thinking about that until you have 10 or 15 properties in Canada. How would I say COVID has affected my business? So Dylan, COVID has affected the business in that we have to wear masks, we have to sign documents, we have had to do a lot of those being very careful stuff. But what has happened because of COVID is they printed a lot of money. When they printed a lot of money, everyone has cash in their bank accounts. Right now, it is the most money that countries have had in the citizens' savings accounts in history. Canada has $100 billion. The United States has like $700 billion sitting in people's savings accounts. And they're just buying properties and stocks with it. So the prices of assets are skyrocketing. So how has it affected me? It's affected me that as prices are skyrocketing, everybody is trying to buy properties, and we are busier than we ever have been. And people, more than ever, are trying to be strategic in how they purchase homes and make more money. So that's what we do, is we have one-on-one consultations for free with our clients to help them save more money. So it has completely changed our business, but for the better. And our clients are making way more money than they ever have, and we're making more money than we ever have. So business has been doing really, really good. Does that answer your question? Cool, guys. Thanks for all your questions. Really appreciate it. We do this every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I'd love for you guys to keep on coming by. Do you have any ideas that you'd like me to do for next week's show? I'd love to hear about it. Am I investing in Lucid Motors merger? Nope, I'm not. So, I have bank account, stock accounts a little bit everywhere. Some of them are managed by me, and some of them are just passive, where I'm buying ETF indexes follow the S&P 500 in the States. So no, I'm not investing in Lucid Motors. That's the battery company, right? But I did invest many years ago in lithium mines that produce all the rare earth metals to make the batteries. So maybe that might be another way to invest in it. Cool. So you guys remember those documents that I went over? Do you guys want me to go over those again with you? So the number one is working with a realtor. Remember the difference between client and customer. Very, very important. For a client, highest form of obligation that a realtor can give to a customer. Fiduciary responsibility. Fiduciary responsibility means we have to have your best interests at heart, or else we can lose your business and get sued and fined. Absolutely crazy, right? Can one invest in real estate in the U.S. for citizenship? I don't know about that. Can't really help you with that one. I was going to invest as a Canadian, and I don't know how I would get into it from citizenship. The second thing I would look at, when you're dealing with working with a realtor, government mandated form that you have to give to them is whether you choose to be a customer. The problem is with customer, they're now changing the name to self-represented party, which means more about what you're going to be doing. And what it means is that it provides a customer with a restricted level of service. These services provided to a customer may include showing the property and taking customer direction to draft an offer. That means you know best. We're not going to give you our advice on the property or anything else, right? That's what that means. So, cool. The second document that you're going to have to know is the buyer representation agreement, right? This is just between you and your realtor. So then the first thing is you're going to have to put your addresses. This is how you're going to get the listings 24 hours before it goes live to the public. The second thing is this portion right here. This portion right here is where you have to make a statement saying that you are not working with another agent at the time, because there can be legal implications if you are working with more than one agent at the same time. Toronto Life 01, we're buying a second property. How long do you have before you can make it a principal residence? I mean, you can make it a principal residence right away. Depends where you decide on living. So if you have one property that is your principal residence, you're buying a second one, and you're deciding to move to that new property, you can do it right away. Does that help? Hope so. On your second page of your buyer representation agreement, make sure you pay attention to this part, and it just says it's the commissions. So what are you paying your agent as far as services or a base rate? Base rates can range anywhere from like $700. I've seen $500 up to about $2,000 for you to buy the expertise of a very good agent. And sometimes it's a percentage that will be paid out once you purchase the property. But at the same time, remember, this is what the exclusivity is that you're deciding to work with one agent at a time. What do you get when you're exclusive with an agent? What you get is client service, which is what they say the highest form of obligation from a realtor to a consumer. Fiduciary responsibility. The brokerage must have your best interests at heart. Any piece of information that we find out from the deal, we must tell you about, and fully confidential. If you don't sign an exclusive with an agent, what they owe you is customer service as a self-represented party. In that, all we have to do is open the door for you to look at the property and take your instructions as to how to fill out the paperwork. That's your choices between the two. Agreement of purchase and sale. Guys, we were going over this stuff, right? So make sure that you have the right address. Remember, I told you that terrible story about the guy, a friend of mine, who bought the wrong house. He didn't pay attention to the address and bought the wrong property. Absolutely insane. Also, remember that deposit is not the same as how much you're going to be putting down on the home. You may be putting 20% down on the property, but the deposit is the small amount of money that you're doing to secure the contract. It's going to go toward the deposit later. So in Toronto, it's normally 5%, but in some areas it may only be like 5,000 or something is the average. But remember this part, you have 24 hours from acceptance to have it dropped off. 24 hours. So you can't just have it sitting in stocks, sell your stocks. It takes 3 days to clear your stock money. Now you're too late. You haven't got the money in. You breached your contract. You may not get the house and you may get sued. Big deal, right? All right, irrevocable time. Do you guys know what irrevocable means? Irrevocable means no takesies, backsies. I am offering to buy your home for this price at all the stipulations, and I'm offering you this offer for the next 24 hours. I cannot go get that contract and rip it up. Like, I'm bound to it if they decide to accept it. So that's what it means. They're like, you can't take it back for a certain amount of time. But you could use that to your advantage. We do that all the time with irrevocability, and we make a lot more money by using that clause to our advantage. Also, completion date. Completion date is when do you want to start living in the house? We use that all the time to make a lot of money on that one too. Remember, on new constructions, there's HST that you have to pay. So that's really good, yeah, to know. The third page is the title search. Remember that the title searches should be done 2 weeks before you take ownership of the home. It also should be on the day that you're exchanging. Your lawyer will take care of all of this for you, no problems, okay? So on the day that you take ownership of your home, you want to make sure that he hasn't taken a second mortgage on the property or had construction loans put on the property, because you could have a lien on your property and you're taking over their debts. So you definitely don't want to do that, right? Thanks for the questions, guys. I just saw that a couple more has come up. Toronto Life. I think I just mentioned that, right? Answered that question for you on your second residence becoming your principal residence. At the end, remember, these signatures at the top, everyone has to sign, but the main signature is completion of acceptance. If this signature is not signed, there's no deal. Everything else doesn't mean anything. And remember, we need spousal consent. If you are married or have a partner and you're living in the house, it's your matrimonial home, you need both people to agree that you can sell that property. It can't be that just one person signs the deal. You know, he or she, whatever the other person is that's in the relationship, if it's a matrimonial home, both people have to consent. So you can get in trouble with that and not have that go through. This is Schedule A, depending on the country that you're in. That's the nitty-gritty, the fine details. Remember, we can either make it conditional most of the time on finance, which never happens these days. If you haven't taken a few minutes to make sure that you can call your bank and make sure you can borrow some money, it means that the seller is not going to take you seriously and he's not going to look at your offer. Also conditional on sale of your home. That never happens in a bidding war. It just never happens. It's dreamland. And you can make it conditional on inspection sometimes. Because nowadays, we have deals that are going 45 competing offers, 50 competing offers. I'm telling you, the winners will always have no conditions. That's what you got to do. But you have to get your game face on and get ready to play the game the way that it is out there, right? You need to find a good deal that you could buy. That's very, very popular. So, Joe, good question. Are these papers the same in all provinces? No. So this paperwork here, Joe, is for Ontario Real Estate Association, but every province has the same contracts, essentially, in Canada and the United States. They're just different form numbers, but what they're saying is the same thing. Working exclusively with a realtor, laying out what the definitions between client and customer is, all the irrevocable times, spousal consents, confirmation of cooperation, all of those things are going to be in all the contracts, but just in different orders and on different forms. Make any sense? What property has made me the most money? Really depends, Dylan, on how we're going to talk about that, because we have commercial properties and we have residential properties. Residential properties in high appreciating areas, like in a city where properties are going up 10, 15, 20% per year, but it's low on cash flow. But we also have properties in small cities where the cash flow is high, but appreciation is almost nil. So you need a good balance, right? Remember, when they're going to be investing like in stocks or something, they say have a balanced portfolio. You also need a balanced portfolio in real estate. I'm not all in into one thing. Make any sense? That's how you're going to make the most money. But where we've made the majority of our money, it has been appreciation over the past 5 years. Because, you know, they're printing so much cash. It's unbelievable. 45% of every US dollar ever created in history was made in the past year. 25% of every Canadian dollar ever invented in history, ever created, ever printed, was created in the past year. Insane. What does Economics 101 tell you? They create 25% more money, assets go up by 25%. And you've seen it. Stocks and housing have gone through the roof, 25% up. Bananas! Crazy, right? All right, man. So, you guys have any other questions for me that I can help you with? So, basically, I just want you guys to win. Dylan, whether you're in England right now, or you say you're in the UK, depending on wherever you are, United States, Canada, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You could take me in an airplane and throw me out at any state, province, any country. The rules of real estate are the same. Because if you can learn the cheat codes to real estate and to life and to finance, you're all good, man. I just learned them a lot later in life. I wish I was your age and starting off early and learning all this stuff. So I'm so proud of you guys for starting at a young age. It's great. I got in real estate around 30. It was way too late. I wish I got into it when I was like 18. My whole life would have been different. But I hope that you guys can get there. I really want you guys to get there and win. Do you have any other ideas that I can help you with? You know, we went and did a whole bunch of showings today, yesterday. We're almost selling every single day. So, you know, we can tell you what's going on in the market. Bash Talks market is going crazy. No signs of slowing down. Damn right they're not slowing down. And the government has already said that they're not going to go down. I did a really good YouTube video on the 5 reasons why 2021 is going to be absolutely insane. So go to our YouTube channel, Ruff Team Realty, and look up the 5 reasons why to buy in 2021. And the government has already stated that they're going to keep these interest rates low until 2023, which is crazy. Remember, people buy homes on payment, not on price. They pay it on their monthly payments. So as interest rates go down, they can afford more house, and they are going all into housing. And the government is now helping people buy homes by paying 5 or 10% of the properties for them. So the government doesn't want it to go down, and the government is taxing houses based on their values, so they don't want to lose their tax base. I mean, it is not slowing down, and it's in fact going to keep going up because they're printing so much money. What's my income per year? It's pretty healthy. It's good. How about I say that? Remember, you don't want to have one source of income. You need a lot of sources of income. We have, I don't know, 10 or 12 different sources of income. So you need to have that as well. Continue to start off, keep building, building, building. I mean, if you're not making money in your sleep, you're dying, you're losing. So you need to keep moving, keep building. You know, we just hired 3 new people last Monday, and we're always hiring. So that's what you need. Find good people. Read lots of books, hire good people, open companies, buy real estate, and you can start that right at 18, 19 years old. What is my thought about moving into development or becoming a developer? Nah, not for me. That's a lot of headache, a lot of laws, a lot of city councils, a lot of begging. You need, tens of millions of dollars in equipment, thousands of workers. It's just way too big for me. What is my best book recommendation? If I was going to start with a book recommendation, probably The Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller. I always say to start reading that. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. For sure. And I would also be reading What Would the Rockefellers Do? And that's by Garrett Gunderson. Do you want me to say that again, Joe? So What Would the Rockefellers Do? By Garrett Gunderson. Amazing book. Also look at Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Also Rich Dad, Poor Dad by, what's that guy's name? I don't remember his name now. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. Really need those books. That's where I would start. Those are your starting books, because they'll explain everything. I mean, if you read those books that I just mentioned to you, which you can do in a month and a half, read 1 book a week. If you did that, you will know more than 95% of the people walking around on the street. If you just did that. And if you just did that, you're already on the right path. It's that easy. Kiyosaki, yeah, that's the guy. Robert Kiyosaki, I think is his name. Yeah. Bash. Thanks, buddy. Robert Kiyosaki. Yeah, I mean, that book was written like 1 million years ago. Think and Grow Rich was written like the 50s or something like that, and it's still relevant. It's not about the mechanics. It's like the mindset. about doing it right. So thanks, guys, for all of your positive props. We do this every single Sunday, 7 o'clock Eastern time. I take all of your questions. I want to help you all. Honestly, I really, really do. And we sometimes get a lot of trolls on here. Fortunately, this week we haven't gotten any, right? All positive people that want to learn. I really love that. Dale Carnegie, yes, I like him. How to Get Friends and Influence People. Very, very good for psychology, right? Because if you get in any type of sales, a lot of it is psychological. There's a lot of times clients are going to be yelling at me for something stupid, and I just know it's part of the process for them to process it in their brain, that they're going to get very agitated, and they normally call me back the next day and go, yeah, I'm just so stressed out about buying a house. It's so much money. I'm like, I get it. It's okay. That's another good book. I would think about that as well. Yeah, Dylan, I want you to get into real estate, bro. It's a great, great career. I wish I would have done it sooner. I've watched people that have no morals, terrible people, lazy people, all kinds of drunk, alcoholic, drug addict people, bad people that are able to make so much money in this. And here's the sad truth, is I have met so many unscrupulous, bad realtors, and those bad realtors are able to make more money than I would ever. Because people get like sheepish around these people because they're such massive, domineering personalities. They push them into contracts that they're not comfortable with, and they make huge money. And that's a terrible thing about this business. It really bothers me because, like dating when you're young, nice guys finish last. And I'm always the nice guy that wants to help everybody, and I've been taken advantage of a lot in my life. But I'm still not going to change who I am. I had a tough life growing up. I had leukemia. I was sick. 5 years I spent in the hospital. People made fun of me all the time. It sucked, man. I hated it. But it just made me have empathy for people and want to treat people nicely. And so I'm going to continue to stick to who I am. I'm not going to change that for anybody. Yeah, so I want you to get in real estate too, man. I want you to get into it and do very, very well with it. I have never looked into real estate in the UK, so I really can't comment on it. Joe, yeah, thank you, buddy. I appreciate people like you that appreciate it. I've had no trolls today, so that makes me good. It makes me feel good. We come on here all the time, and we have people, for some reason, maybe they had a bad day or they're upset by something, I don't know. But they're like mad at the whole world, mad at realtors or mortgage broker. And listen, I feel you, because there's a lot of unscrupulous people out there. There really, really is. But if you know what the laws say, like in these contracts, you know where I'm directing you to look, you can kind of defend yourself. So if you know these contracts, read it very well, understand the legalities of them. Listen, man, you can't go through life without knowing this stuff. You have to know it in order to make big money. If you want big money, learn the small details and build a team, because you can't know everything. You can't. So, Joe, thank you very much. Appreciate all the kind words. Manny, thank you as well. If you follow this stuff, follow these contracts, you're going to make a lot more money. And I'm not talking 50, 100 bucks. If you do it right, you could make 50 grand, 100 grand on deals, Just this week, we saved the guy $175,000. One transaction. One. So, you can make some big, life-changing money decisions on a couple of sheets of paper. That's why I say a couple of sheets of paper can change your life. So knowing all of that, studying it, knowing it is going to really, really help you. But you can't do everything on your own. So interview and find a really good realtor, a very good mortgage agent. You're going to have to get eventually, okay, a lawyer who's going to be a business lawyer that can help you set it up. You're going to have a life insurance agent as well. But, those are later. You just got to get a good mortgage broker and a good agent right off the bat. Get a couple of those guys, and they're really, really going to help you. Dylan, you're saying, oh, this is very helpful to you, man. I appreciate it. Toronto Life 01, thank you for the info. Guys, I do this all the time, right? We have thousands of clients. Are you curious? Can I show you guys something? Let me see if I can pull up my computer right now. So, did you know in Toronto there's 70,000 agents? Out of those 70,000 agents, 35,000 never sold a house last year. Another 20 or 25,000 only sold one house last year. One. There's hardly anybody who is doing any work in this business. Cool. Can I show you something? Watch this. Watch this. Look. Right. Oh, crap. Let's move this. Right there. Do you see a number? 2,092 customers I have right now. I'm working with 2,092 people right now trying to buy homes. Remember what I just told you, that before you are going to be with all these people who have never sold a property, period. Things are changing every day, every week in the laws, and you're going to trust the most valuable, the biggest purchase you have in your entire life to someone who hasn't sold a house in 5-6 years? Blows my mind. Blows my mind. I can't even believe it. You see what I'm showing you here? I want you to go with someone like this that has 2,092 clients right now that I'm working with. Now, of course, I can't do this by myself. I have to have a monster team working for me. I have strategists that work for me and full-time statisticians, and I have agents, and I have a whole team in the Philippines that are supporting me and assistants that are here. I can't do this on my own. You need to build a team. So even I, who have been studying this for decades, I can't do it alone. You have to build a team for me. So you too have to start building a team, right? That's how you're going to do very, very well for yourself. Anyway, just thought I'd like to show that to you. That's how many buyers that we're working with right now, which is pretty cool, right? Do you want to see? So we also have off-market properties. So that means people who are selling properties. If you are going to be selling properties, you want to have somebody that has a lot of buyers, right? So right now, let me see, how many do we have on our exclusive network? Cool. Look at this. 1,120 private exclusive listings that are not online. So we work with a lot of people. And so if you have a lot of off-market properties, you can have a lot of clients looking to buy them, right? And if you have all the clients that are looking to buy want more properties, the people, if I have more properties, I have more buyers. It's a perfect symbiotic relationship. So, I mean, that's what you want. And find an agent like that has a lot of off-market properties. Find an agent that is working with a lot of clients, who has the systems in place to save you huge money, right? So I thank you guys for your support. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Dylan, you're right. Teamwork is key. But you know what? So we watch all these people that are online. I just came on TikTok a couple months ago. I've had 2 million views in 2 months, which is great. But the lives that we do every single Sunday, sometimes we have 3,000 to 5,000 people come by, but majority of people only come on for a minute. 1 minute, that's it. People aren't really here to learn how to make more money. They're generally here to be entertained. So the majority of people who are jumping on to TikTok are going to show you some flash, show you something very quick, but they're not actually trying to teach you. It's more for entertainment value. But if you're here to learn and to make a lot of money, keep following. We're going to keep on pumping out a lot of material for you guys. We really appreciate all your help. We're also going to be opening up a podcast. I already wrote half of my first book, which will be coming out this year. So hopefully there's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming out in 2021, even though we have COVID going on. Manny, any questions for me before you go? You've asked a lot of good questions. And Joe, yeah, you've had a lot of good questions. I've had a couple of you on for quite a while right now. Yeah. So any other questions that I can help you with before I head on out? Did you guys like seeing how many buyers and sellers that I have? Were you surprised? When I show that to clients of mine, they're kind of usually blown out of the water. Like, you have how many clients? Because most realtors have 1 or 2, right? How do you keep track of thousands of people at the same time? You need a lot of really good systems, and you need a lot of good people. So pretty cool stuff. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Manny, you said, yeah, you like that. Shows results. I think, Manny, you were mentioning you might be buying a property. You're going to be getting in touch with me. Yeah, so these off-market properties that we have 1,128 right now, right? That's what I just showed you. Do you see 1,128? Do you see where it says exclusive right there? Exclusive listings. And all those properties have tags on them. Then there'll be a map with all the properties that we have that are exclusive. All those properties are not on the market. They're not on Realtor, not on Zillow, not on anything. So we don't put them on the market until we give our clients. So we had 2,000 clients. We offer it to them first for 12 days. If they don't want it, then we put it live on the public, if that makes any sense. Cool. Yeah, Manny, good. I'm glad that you like that. Most people are pretty impressed by that. Joe, you like that too. Cool. Glad. Hey guys, I'm like ridiculously transparent. If you want to see anything, I don't care. I'll show you. Dylan, yeah, it shows where the real money is made. Yeah, for sure. You need to have what everyone wants, and it's pretty interesting that it only comes down to three things. If you're a buyer, what do buyers want? They want access to more properties, which is all the off-market properties. They want a good price, and they want less hassle. Make it easier for me, because it's complicated. A seller only wants three things: good price, less hassle, and they want more buyers. So if we have the buyers and we have all the sellers, then our main goal then is to get more off-market properties, get more sellers, and then make it very easy, less hassle, very transparent, right? If you, after thousands of people that we've dealt with, this is all that they ever want. So if you focus everything you do on your business, this goes for you if you're in the UK and you want to open up, become a realtor. If you focus on that, everything else will just work itself out. So just focusing on delivering an excellent service. If you can do that, you'll kill it. So that goes for you, Dylan, in the UK. Focus on what customers want. That's it. Sorry, missed your earlier story about healthcare. Was I talking about healthcare? I don't remember. Remind me. Remember, guys, I'm a real estate broker. So there's real estate agents. A broker runs the guys. You know, he can have a team that is working with him. So I don't really know. I can't really advise you on what to do, right? As far as finances goes, I can advise you. I'm not pushing you as to certain products. And I'm not a financial advisor or an insurance broker or a mortgage broker, but I deal with stuff all the time. I can talk about what I do personally. Legally, I'm only allowed to tell you about what I do personally, but I'm telling you that from a healthcare perspective, I think what you're mentioning is I have specially constructed whole life insurance policies that are overfunded. So specially constructed, overfunded whole life insurance policies. They also call it Be Your Own Banker revolution. So you would like to read the book called Be Your Own Banker. Also, there's a book by Garrett Gunderson in the United States, and he has a book called What Would the Rockefellers Do? Read those two books. I would read those two books. Very, very mind expanding, you know. And like I said before, guys, reading books is going to be the cheat code to life, the cheat code to finance, to real estate. It's the cheat codes for everything. And so I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for books and mentors. So, you know, keep reading, keep learning, because how all these billionaires are making money, follow what they do. That's it. Don't take advice from, I'm sorry, not trying to be insulting, but your mom and dad, if they're working 9 to 5. Do you know, like, they might be wrong. Maybe not your teacher, maybe not some friend. So if you are making $50,000 a year, you need to find somebody who's making $500,000 a year and do what he's doing. Once you make $500,000 a year, you got to be looking at the guy who's making $3 million and then try and follow him. So what I'm telling you is track down the people who are making billions of dollars. Do what they do. That's it. I'm not telling you to do what I say. Forget me. Follow the money. I mean, that's one of the biggest rules in my life is just follow the money. Why did something happen? That's weird. Just follow the money and you'll find the answer to it. How do you think, like, even Trump is famous, right? He makes billions of dollars in real estate and pays no taxes. It's because it's purely legal. It's all legal. But how does he do it? So find the right accountants and the legal framework to set it up for yourself so you don't have to pay taxes anymore. Is that cool? That's what I would do. Follow the money, because that's going to be how you're going to make it all. Cool. Toronto Life. Thanks, man, for the question. I hope that's what you were talking about the healthcare. If someone buys an off-market property, do you represent both sides? Not always. No. So sometimes, but rarely. So that's a good question. So let's open up here. Buyer representation agreement is where you're going to say that I, the agent, am representing the client and that the client is not working with anybody else. Because you have to state that you're not working for anyone else, or we can get in some serious problems. Remember, where there's a representation, there's also multiple representation. So the governments have been trying to remove multiple representation, because think of it when you go to court, and when you're in court, you have the plaintiff and the defendant. You never see a lawyer going from one side to the other. Because remember, when you are signed with an agent, what does it give you? Client. Your client. The highest form of obligation from a realtor to a consumer. I'm trying to read it and show it to you at the same time. Fiduciary responsibility towards you. We have to let you know of all the information that we get on a property. Confidentiality. A legal requirement to have your best interests at heart. So how can you have the best interests at heart of both people? That's almost impossible, right? So that's why the government is trying to get rid of the multiple representation. So most of the time, when it's going to come down to represent, I won't represent both sides. I'll represent one. It's kind of rare that I would actually be representing two. I don't actually like that very much. But there can be multiple representation in another way when it's not just one agent like myself representing both sides. It also can be multiple representation if you work for the same company. So if you have someone like Remax to another Remax and you both work in the same shop. So some shops have 300 agents. So if you're working with somebody else who's on the other side, he's one of those 300 agents, that's still multiple representation as well. And that's what happens more often. Cool, makes sense. Toronto Life, good question. Anyone else have any questions? The thing is these contracts, guys, I mean, when you look at them, holy crap, so much small writing, right? Everyone just signs the bottom and carries on. Has any of my investments backfired? Yep. Dylan, good question, man. So someone was asking me just yesterday, same question. I lost like $250,000 in stocks. I also lost a couple $100,000 in a restaurant deal. I also had a mortgage refinancing company. I've had a lot of different careers in my life, and I've lost money in a lot of them. And each time was because I was not looking at the details enough. I wasn't trusting myself enough. I wasn't following the rules. I was trying to believe that I know better. I have a better way. It's completely wrong. As I kept reading and more books, I just kept on shaking my head going, I wish I would have known this before. So for you, what I would say the best thing that you should be doing is reading and understanding this before making the mistakes that I have. Fortunately, I don't make very many mistakes anymore. But if I would have known that at the beginning, I would have had another $10 million in the bank. Where can you still afford a townhome in the GTA? Oh, good question. Slideshow. Right now, where I would be looking for affordable. Now, I don't know what you mean by affordable. What's affordable? So, like under 700,000, something like that? Is that what you mean affordable in the Greater Toronto area? But the majority of people who are buying right now, Oshawa, Ajax, Whitby, out that way. Also, Brampton has some that are good. Also, Hamilton. And when you round the Golden Horseshoe and you're heading that way, then they get more and more affordable, right? But it really depends where you're talking about. And it really depends on, are you looking for a flip? Are you willing to put in a lot of renovations or something like that? So it really depends on the city. If you are in the Greater Toronto area, we offer free consultations. They don't cost anything. If you want to talk to us, just reach out to us at contact@Ruff Team Realty, and we'll get back to you. We'll set up a free Zoom call and try and find you something that's really good. Listen, what we were showing people before is that we had 1,000. I still have it on my screen. 1,000. Where is it? Where is it, guys? Can you see it? 1,128 properties that are off market. They're not on Realtor.ca, Zillow, House Sigma. They're not anywhere. So if you want some of those properties, we can find you a townhouse that is a good deal in the Greater Toronto area that's off market, and you might get a great deal on it, and you don't have to go into a bidding war. So give us a call. It's absolutely free. There's no obligation to buy. Contact@Ruff Team Realty. Reach out to us there. What is the most costly mistake I've made? Opening some businesses with my friends. That's probably the worst thing I've ever done. Yeah, I would say that's the worst. Trusting somebody else. These guys were friends of mine that were buddies. I thought they would be there for me forever. They ended up screwing me many, many times. Listen, you got to do something on your own. You can't trust anybody else, unfortunately. That was the biggest mistake I did. Slideshow fad. Yes, 700K. Yeah, so like the areas that I was mentioning to you. Yeah, Whitby, Oshawa. Oshawa would probably be my number one pick right now. Oshawa, Brampton, and Hamilton is where you can get some really, really good deals going on right now. It's quite expensive if you're looking at the inner suburbs like Scarborough, North York, Mississauga, stuff like that. Oakville. It's very expensive for townhomes there right now. But they do come up, to be honest, because as they come up, you don't always know what the actual prices are because they're going to list them at $500,000 and they're going to sell for $800,000 because that's what they're worth is $800,000. It's like deceptive marketing because they're going to put the price extremely low. But make sure that when you're going to be getting into those units that you're going to know how much renovations you're going to have to do. Sometimes they put artists' renditions of what it will look like, or they'll say needs TLC, and then you know it's a crap hole, right? And it's going to be really bad. Slideshow, you're also asking about Barrie. Yeah, I wouldn't be investing in Barrie right now. Barrie's housing prices are very overvalued. Just follow, if you're buying for yourself, follow what the investors are doing. No investors are buying in Barrie right now because it's way too much money and you can get a much better deal other places. So Barrie is like the outlier. It's the anomaly because normally in a city, the farther you go out, the cheaper it becomes. But in Toronto, it's cheaper, except for that corridor up to 400 to Barrie. It has enormous prices, and the return, though, drops as you go. So it's not a really great spot. Bowmanville, not very many investors are buying there. That's usually somebody who has family there, who's returning home or something. We don't have a lot of big investors investing in Bowmanville. Do I listen to Taylor Swift? Good question. Yeah, but only when I'm around all my nieces. They love to play that and dance around. So she's fun, I guess. What's that song that Shake It Off? Yeah, they love that one. They I don't know. It's fun watching them get all riled up. I wish I had their energy. Random question though. What's up with that? But it's good to shake me up, man. I didn't know that was coming. And we don't always have to talk about contracts and real estate. But our main goal, guys, is we just want you to make as much money as possible. Because money equals time. Time, I could choose what I want to do with it, man. If I don't want to work a day, I don't work. If I want to go take off, jump in an airplane, go travel for 2 weeks, not during COVID, I'm leaving. I'm going to go do that, right? If I have a client that I don't like, I'm not working with them. I'm fortunate that, we have a lot of good clients. We have really good systems. We save a lot of people a lot of money, so everybody wants to come work with us, right? So we're fortunate that we have a lot of times people who are very aggressive, very angry. They're swearing all the time. They're yelling at you all the time, telling you what to do. Like I've had to call people up and say, you can't work with my agents anymore. I'm sorry. Because they've threatened them. We had a client that was saying that they're going to come to bash their head in and kick them in the face, I think he said, because he's a Taekwondo guy, to beat him up. The reason why he was so upset was this part, that we have to determine make huge efforts to determine any material facts relating to the transaction, and we must inform the client of those facts. So we have a policy about being completely transparent. Everything that we know, you have to know. Every time we find something out, I call you. And he was annoyed that our guys were calling him, letting him know what's going on with his offer. Because he put in an offer for a $1.5 million home. And he was getting updates, what's going on, nonstop. And he goes, yeah, I felt that some of the things I shouldn't have known. You should have been able to filter them out to let me know things that I like and not tell me the things I don't like. It doesn't work that way, man. We are fully transparent. So we're going to let you know absolutely everything. I have gotten a lot more people that praise me on being transparent than someone like this. This is a rare oddball, right? So in certain cases, you just got to say, yeah, maybe we're not a good fit. Make sense? Do you see Canadian family detached market staying strong for the rest of the year? Yes. And it's very, very easy. Go to my YouTube channel, look up the video, the top 5 reasons why you should be buying in 2021. It's the first video on YouTube that I'd be looking up, okay? Ruff Team Realty. Go to the YouTube channel, the top 5 reasons to buy in 2021. We just put it up last week. And the second video is on how the government will be paying off your mortgage for you. Not just your mortgage, your debts. So go look that up. That's the second video on YouTube that we put up. How the governments will be paying off your mortgage for you and the top 5 reasons to buy. Number 1 is why the governments are printing so much money as they're devaluing the currency. They're boosting the asset prices of homes, and they're not going to stop. They said they're going to continue to do that for the next 3 years. So the prices will continue to be going up at the same rate. If you saw year over year, properties are up 26%. And the only reason that we haven't had a complete collapse or bubble burst, let's say, is because we're not the only country that's printing. All the countries are printing. England, all of Europe, all of the EU, all of North America, Japan, Australia, everybody's printing. So if everybody's printing in lockstep, it's going to keep down the total effects of inflation immediately. So when you print so much, obviously asset prices go up, houses and stocks go through the roof, which they have. And then what trickles in later are the prices of cars, materials, food, gas. But we've already seen that starting to go up too, right? Quite a bit. So that's why. And yes, it will continue to go up, but that's for WA 8519. If you're in the Greater Toronto Area, you know we offer free consultations, absolutely free, costs you nothing. And you can have a free meeting with us, and we'll try and help you out and find anything in the Greater Toronto Area if this is where you're looking, and how to make a lot more money, right? That's our main goal, make money with every step. Listen, if any of you are ever becoming a new real estate agent, we are desperate for good agents. Good moral agents who will not lie, who are very transparent, who are hardworking. Our agents work generally 60 to 80 hours per week. We work every evening, every weekend, every holiday. If you're that type of guy and you're lost and you just became an agent and you don't know what to do, come work with us. Give us an application, you know. We take on interns every single year. We hire agents anytime that there's a good one. So we'd love to hear about that. You haven't heard any rumbling about government intervention in cooling the Canadian market. Remember what I always say, guys, follow the money. Follow the money is the answer for everything. So I'm not an insider for the government, but if the governments did something to intervene and bring the housing prices down, they lose tax money. No government wants to lose tax money, especially during a pandemic. The government is also co-purchasing homes with people, first-time buyers, paying up to 10% of their home for them. Do you think that they want to lose their investments? No, they're not going to be doing that. They're also showing you that they don't want prices to go down because the interest rates keep on getting pushed down. Guys, they're also printing money at astonishing rates. So as you print money, you devalue your dollars and it pushes up the asset prices like crazy, but your wages don't go up. So it becomes harder and harder to buy anything. So I can't see, there hasn't been one press release from the government that says that they're going to be intervening in housing prices. But what you do see a lot of is a lot of them making statements that they will continue to push up asset prices, keep interest rates low, and co-purchasing homes with their first-time buyers. So I don't see that right now. That I haven't seen anything, not even one sign that points toward that. That's what I would think. And if you ever want, I don't know if you were here, Ruff Team Realty at YouTube, okay? Go to that channel, top 5 reasons to buy in 2021. Look up that video, very, very informative. And the second one, how the governments will be paying off your debts for you. Hopefully that was helpful, you guys. Man, this is great. Had a lot of good questions. You know, usually we have 3,000 to 5,000 people come on. Usually our viewership is sitting around 40 to 50 people. Today it's been consistently around like 5 to 10, not very many people. So we got a lot of cool questions in. You guys got a lot of personal attention. Hopefully that helped. Please come by every single Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll try and do this again. Before I head out, guys, is there any questions I have? If you're a new agent, I want to hire you. Please come give us a call. Contact at Ruff Team Realty. We'd love to hear from you. If you want a free consultation, no obligation to buy, reach out to us. Contact at Ruff Team Realty. Cool. Any other questions that I can help you with before I go? Do you want me to go over my book suggestions with you again? Do you want me to tell you about those contracts again? What could be the biggest value to you? How could I give you the most value? Also, you know, if you want to just email me and say hi, would love to hear from you. You can reach out at contact at Ruff Team Realty. Or if you have a suggestion for another show, please let us know in DM me or something. We'd love to hear from you. If you ever want to intern with us, we also take on 2 interns every single year. So whatever you want, we're always here for you. Hopefully you know that, and that we're always trying to provide huge value and make you a lot more cash. I mean, that's the name of the game, and I want you to use that cash to buy time for yourself. Buy experiences, because that's one thing that they can never take from you, right? Go climb a volcano, go scuba diving, run through the forest, I don't know. Buy a new PlayStation if that's your thing, but just do your thing, right? And that's what I want for you guys. All right, well, since I've answered all your questions, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for your support every single week. We're going to continue to do this. We've got 2.5 million views in the past 2 months and a week or something. 2.5 million views in the past 2 months and a week or something like that. So thank